most destructive weapon ever created in the history of mankind. You're probably wondering why I'd start a Godzilla video talking about the atomic bomb. Well, it's because it has everything to do with Godzilla. The first movie in the Godzilla series was a black and white feature film titled Gojira, and it was directed by Ishiro Honda in 1954. Honda had previously worked with the production company Toho on documentaries and gritty war films, features that represented real-life events, so when he was brought on to direct Gojira, he naturally brought that element of realism with him, and what he created still resonates with its audience over 6 decades later, haunting its viewers with images that reflect real-life events of great tragedies. Only 10 years prior to the release of Gojira, there was a great tragedy for the residents of Japan. On August 6th and 9th, 1945, during World War II, the United States of America dropped nuclear weapons on the city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing approximately 129,000 people instantly, most of whom were civilians. This act ended World War II, but at great cost to the families that reside there. Like the mushroom cloud that would have overshadowed the city of Hiroshima, Godzilla is a massive, unstoppable hulking beast. In Gojira, Japan's military are powerless to protect their country, just as they were in 1945. Ishiro Honda's experience with documentaries and war films meant he was able to mirror the devastating environment of post-war Hiroshima. With a barren, charred landscape, void of life, the film was not just able to show us the effect of the attack, but was able to bring us there and place us right in the middle of it. There were scenes depicting overflowing hospitals, churches filled with widows and orphans praying for their safety, hordes of refugees with seemingly nowhere to go, and the choir of girls singing in despair only adds to the calamitous atmosphere. The tight claustrophobic shots make the film a more deeply personal story than any other monster film at the time. Using the bombings of Japan as a basis for the Godzilla film allows our viewers to already be invested in the survival of the citizens, as there is an inherent sympathy for not only the characters of the film, but the movie makers as they replicate the disaster that mostly affected their friends and family. The opening scene especially exemplifies the idea that the influence for the movie was the atomic bomb. The Lucky Dragon 5 incident was when a tuna fishing boat with a crew of 23 men became contaminated by the American Bikini Atoll thermonuclear weapons test in March of 1954. The crew were left severely burned and scarred following the event, with one of the crew members dying from the injury later that year. The crew stated that the bomb occurred as a yellow flash that seeped through the cabin windows, and as they stepped outside, they saw the sky painted in a flaming sunset, even though the sun had yet to rise. This description matches how Gojira begins, with the crew of a fishing vessel named Ikumaru enjoying themselves on a break, playing games, listening to music, sleeping on the deck, embracing the tranquility of the ocean, which puts the audience at ease, unknowing of the events about to unfold. In what seems to be an instant, an unknown source of light fills the sky, severely burning the crew. They scream in pain before the ship plunges to the depths below, killing everyone on board. It's hard to deny the dark inspiration that led to scenes like this being included in the film, with the intent to shock the audience by sending out realistic and hard-hitting images. This is an example of when the opening scene leaves an impact on the viewers, since the first thing you see is a devastating event that's not only just terrifying, but mirrors real life. It gives the audience something to go off on what to expect from the film, something that represents the horrors of what's possible thanks to the atomic bomb. The film presented Japanese viewers with an eerily recognizable representation of their home country in flames, which didn't sit well with a lot of the population, as they felt it was exploitative of those who lost friends and family in the attacks. That a giant creature that breathes atomic radiation was an absurd idea. Nothing like Gojira had been seen in Japan before, and most weren't accepting of it, calling it grotesque junk. Even though Ishiro Honda had always intended Gojira to be a powerful anti-nuclear story with a serious message, some didn't see it that way. However, audiences that approached the film with an open mind were reportedly leaving the theatre in tears, but for a different reason than you may think. They embraced the idea that a film could be used as a way to positively change the world with its political messages. In fact, Ishiro Honda expected the film to have a great effect on the development of nuclear weapons, stating, "We naively hoped that the end of Godzilla was going to coincide with the end of nuclear testing. Over the years, viewers learned about how the message could be positively spread across the world, as the horrors in the film could resonate with others who had an experience with the real-life incident firsthand." Japan has remained abstinent towards the development of nuclear weapons, and in 2017, the Japanese Prime Minister stated they wish for a world free of nuclear weapons, and you can't help but think that the popularity of the Godzilla series has helped solidify that message in the minds of the masses across the world. Gojira went on to win Best Special Effects at the Japanese Movie Association Awards, though it lost Best Picture and was second to none other than Kurosawa's The Seventh Samurai. But did the message stick with this series? Eventually Toho would stray from the dark and serious tones and instead would focus more on the city destruction. They found that an increasing number of critics enjoyed the special effects of the movie and therefore decided to make it the focal point for the coming sequels. However, the message remained prevalent, and with every Godzilla film, they would focus on other issues such as pollution and global warming, though these messages would always be overshadowed by the monster fighting and the increasingly cheesy atmosphere, as in the 60s and 70s, Toho learned they could make more money by targeting a younger audience. It was this period where people get the idea that Godzilla was merely a film for children, about a giant dinosaur that saved the world from evil. However, in a poll I carried out on the website Reddit, I asked over 150 individuals what their view on Godzilla was, and 84% of the participants stated that they believed that Godzilla was a dark story about the atrocities of mankind, whilst only 16% of those stated it was a family movie about a monster that saved the world. This evidence supports the idea that Godzilla's social commentary has become more commonplace in a modern society, that the original Gojira carries a strong message even to this very day, lasting over 60 years since its initial release. Godzilla's had a hand in shaping a world that's against the use of nuclear weapons, and that's seen with how Japan has been moulded over the years, and with the themes of Godzilla coming to light, many Westerners are better understanding what Godzilla represents and how they can change because of it. We've learnt that Godzilla has had a great political impact thanks to its social commentary that is still being talked about to this very day. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki left an imprint on Japan that will never be forgotten. Godzilla is an amazing series that has influenced viewers around the world, but let us not forget the influence that brought it to life in the first place. The thousands of innocent people that lost their lives on that very day in 1945 will always be remembered, and as long as the Godzilla series lives on, they live on in the timeless medium of film. So at some point in the day, just take 1 minute to think about the lives lost. I've been Alistair from DangerVille. We hope you've learnt something new today, and as always, thanks for watching.